From a spooky old tavern in Alaska to a Civil War fort in Delaware, these are 10 of the most haunted places in America. Number 10. Brumder Mansion Bed and Breakfast, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Ghosts don't just prowl eerie places. Sometimes haunted houses can be picturesque or even attractive. For example, the Brumder Mansion in Milwaukee's historic Concordia district. The 8,000 square foot mansion is a sought-after event and concert space today, and doesn't spook people at first glance. After all, it's an upscale bed and breakfast where pleasant events take place in the basement theater. What could be haunted about that? Yet the place is also popular with paranormal investigators and ghost hunters who have reportedly claimed that the place is a region of high macabre energy and spirit activity. And among the ghostly dwellers in the house are former owners, a doctor, a former gambler, and even a young girl. One former owner of the house did extensive remodeling and loved the property, but sold it after an encounter with a female poltergeist who shattered a mirror and even left drops of blood in the bathtub to spook her. That would get me out of there in a hurry. I don't think I'll be booking an event here for some time. Would you go to a concert here? Would you stay overnight? Be sure to let me know in the comments below. And while you're down there, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. There are loads of cool videos coming out every week with information you didn't know you needed, and you won't want to miss them. Number 9. Rookie's Corner, Sitka, Alaska. Ghosts aren't scared of the cold, as one haunts a bar all the way up in the great state of Alaska in the island town of Sitka. According to local legends, a drunk driver struck a woman while she was standing just outside this pub many years ago, back when it was still called the Kiksadi Club. The fatal assault didn't immediately kill the woman, though, as she continued to scream and suffer in pain until finally succumbing to her injuries. Those who regularly visit here have claimed that they do come across a feminine, ghostly figure that mysteriously appears and disappears at night. This place has a dark past. Don't let the crowds fool you, and definitely don't drink and drive. You could hurt yourself or others, or even wind up haunted by a ghost of your own. If you do, you deserve every sleepless night and terrifying paranormal encounter you get. Number 8. The Orpheum Theatre, Memphis, Tennessee. Ever since its construction almost 100 years ago on the site of a burned-down vaudeville theater in 1928, the Orpheum Theatre has gone through a lot. Threats of demolition, bankruptcies, and even a diabolic fire. Even today, the place has plenty of room for about 2,000 people who want to enjoy a good performance by talented actors or singers. But it's not just for people now, there's even room for ghosts. The place is reportedly haunted with spirits of 6 ghosts, according to many eyewitness accounts. Perhaps the most famous of the 6 is a little girl named Mary. Performers and even theatergoers have claimed to see her in the audience and even dancing in the lobby. Maybe she used to come here with her parents, or maybe she used to perform here. It's possible that the 1923 fire that burned its predecessor to the ground caused this. Did it take her life? Some guesses discuss a 1921 car accident, while other stories claim she was injured by a trolley in 1928 and carried inside where she died. We may never find all the answers. Number 7. Valiska Axe Murder House, Valiska, Iowa. Just as memories can bind us to places after we are long gone, so can pain and suffering. And that is the case with the Valiska Axe Murder House. The date was June 9th, 1912. And the Moore family may never have imagined it was the last day they would ever live together, at least in their corporeal bodies. All 6 members of the Moore family and 2 house guests were brutally murdered by a vicious criminal with an axe. The case remains unsolved to this day, and the killer was never identified. Multiple men were tried, but without any solid evidence, no conviction was ever declared. It is said that the family's tormented spirits still haunt the house. Perhaps they are restless, awaiting justice for their deaths. The place is a tourist destination in the morning and a scene of paranormal investigations at night. What is there to say? A whole family bound together by their pain and trauma even after death. I guess it's home not so sweet home. Number 6. Hutchinson Library, Hutchinson, Kansas. Some people love their jobs almost too much. Do you know anyone like that? Someone who works tirelessly for their employers and loves their overtime. Apparently, there are some people who love their job even after death. It was in 1915 that Ida Day Holzapfel started working as the librarian here at the Hutchinson Library. Apparently, she loved her job and was known to be strict with her work. Later, she resigned and moved to work at a library in California, but was tragically killed in a car accident on her first day of work there in 1954. This accident may have ended her life, but not her employment. Soon after, those who visited the Hutchinson Library began to see strange sightings, hear footsteps, feel cold spots, and some even saw her sorting books in the basement. It looks like she went back to her old library, keep an eye on things. In life, she was strict and made sure that all the rules were followed perfectly. In the afterlife, it looks like her ghost still takes the time to intimidate new librarians. Old habits die hard, they say. I suppose sometimes they don't die at all. Number 5. Fort Delaware, Delaware City, Delaware. This is a place with an unpleasant history. It was involved in the Civil War. It was built as a Union fortress before this bloody conflict, but later was used as a prison for captured Confederate soldiers. And the treatment they received here was horrendous. The Union Army put thousands of enemy soldiers in barely livable conditions for years. Up to 33,000 Confederate soldiers served time here as prisoners of war, including almost all of the men who were captured in the famous Battle of Gettysburg. These men suffered gravely, and many died within its walls. All of this comes together to make a perfect formula for restless souls. Such is the case in Fort Delaware. Many prisoners died due to malnutrition and prison conditions. Disease ran through the compound, with those who perished never receiving adequate medical treatment. Their spirits must be aggrieved and unhappy. It's not a surprise they still haven't crossed over to the other side. Number 4. Stull Cemetery, Stull, Kansas. The folklore and legends surrounding this place are creepier than anyone could possibly imagine, and gives goosebumps even to the most veteran paranormal investigators. Many believe that Stull Cemetery is a portal, or a gateway between our world and the underworld. This is known as a place where occult ceremonies took place. It is said that even Satan himself has set foot on this profane ground. Some of these rumors gained legitimacy when the student newspaper of the University of Kansas published a piece that promoted the legend, pushing the idea that the devil himself appeared in this place on Halloween and on the spring equinox. This has prompted hundreds of people to try and trespass on the ground of the graveyard overnight on Halloween, and now the local sheriff will arrest explorers for trespassing after dark. So even if you don't get captured by an evil supernatural power, the long arm of the law can still exact revenge. Not exactly a place I'd like to visit. Many people claim that they've experienced supernatural activities in the area, and many paranormal investigators have claimed the place is haunted, with dark energy and malign spirits. It's just plain spooky. Number 3. Baker's Motel, or Crescent Hotel and Spa, Eureka Springs, Arkansas. The hotel has an eerie history from the very beginning. It was opened in 1886, and a person died on that very first day after falling down from a window. Things didn't improve from there. They took a turn for the worse and got incredibly creepy. In the 1930s, Norman G. Baker, a millionaire who made a fortune as a magician, record broadcaster, and an inventor, bought the place and turned it into an institution for cancer patients. He claimed that he could cure cancer with a secret remedy. But there was no proof that Mr. Baker had any expertise in medicine. He was convinced that he had the cure, but peddled solutions that didn't have any basis in science. Lula Tunis was a dying cancer patient, and her husband wanted to find someone who could cure his wife. Unfortunately, he came across Norman, and admitted Lula into his institution. A few months later, Lula passed away after being treated by Norman and his fake quack medicine. Norman was later imprisoned for his hoax, yet many say his spirit and those of the people he treated remain in the place to this very day. Number 2. Pine Barrens, New Jersey, home of the Jersey Devil. In the serene and old woods of rural New Jersey lives perhaps one of the most famed paranormal creatures of the Americas, or at least many believe it to be. The woods extend over 7 counties and are home to an abundance of abandoned ghost towns. The reason they were all abandoned? The Jersey Devil. According to local legends, the Jersey Devil is a kangaroo-like creature with the face of a horse, the head of a dog, bat-like wings, horns, and a tail. As the story goes, back in colonial times, there lived a woman named Deborah Leeds. When she was pregnant with her 13th child, she offered her unborn child to the devil. This was back during the early 1700s, at a time when the occult was always in the back of people's minds. And when the time came for her child's arrival into this world, as soon as it was born, something went wrong. In fact, everything went wrong. It was born a full-fledged demon, and immediately attacked all the people in the house before escaping into the woods. Many eyewitnesses claim to catch glimpses of the Jersey Devil even today, and it still terrorizes the local livestock and even humans from time to time. It leaves mysterious traces and a trail of death and fear. Number 1. Amityville Horror House, Amityville, New York. This haunted place may be America's most famous, and the most gruesome one at that. You won't sleep tonight after seeing this paranormal house. The story originates with a young man named Ronald DeFeo. Everyone knew he was troubled, but no one knew it would drive him into such depths of evil. It was a cold and dark night in 1974. The then 23-year-old, possessed by something or just suffering from an acute mental illness, loaded up his gun and shot his entire family in cold blood during their sleep. It was 3:15 in the morning. His mother, father, and 4 siblings, everyone gone. Why did he do it? It remains a mystery to this very day. He was convicted and is now in prison. His family's house, though, went up for sale. A year later, the Lutz family moved in, but they didn't stay there for even a single month. They simply couldn't. The family couldn't take any more of the paranormal activity going on in the house, including strange smells, noises that woke them up exactly at 3:15 a.m., levitating while asleep, and hearing and seeing strange oddities. These are bizarre and terrifying in the context of the horrific crime that happened here, and the house remains a textbook example of the paranormal power of violence and death. By the way, Ronald is still alive. He is serving his life sentence for the murders with no parole. I wonder if he regrets his decision even now, after all these years. What do you think? Is that level of depravity so low that this criminal is now unable to even feel bad about what he did? Would his apology release his family's spirits and allow them to finally reach their resting place? Let me know in a comment below. Evil lurks in our world and has many forms, but it's better not to turn a blind eye to it. Subscribe to The Biggest for more impressive and informative videos, and of course, do have a very good night. Until next time.